Callum, you've played in this fixture 37 times before. What do you make of it? What have you learnt about it over the years?
Everyone's different. Everyone's got its own challenges. You got to beat your maximum. You got to fight. You got to do all the dirty bits of the game if you want to win. So I don't think any of that changes tomorrow. When we approach the game in the right manner, try and be as aggressive as we can, and see where that takes us.
Is it a game that still throws up surprises for you?
Yeah, I think it does. I think it's two good teams. Anything can happen on the day, and like I said, you got to earn the right to play and earn the right to win the game. So, form, everything else sort of goes out the window, and once the game starts, then you've got 90 plus minutes to try and find a way to win the game.
We spoke after the last game, the fact that even yourself, you kind of got caught up in a little bit after the game in terms of the emotion of it all. Does that just kind of underline that even the wisest, oldest heads can still get stressed by it, or say caught up in the nonsense of it?
I don't think I did actually, but the game is emotional. You want to be emotional when you're playing the game, because I think you got to find something different to try and get your team over the line. So, like I said, whatever the game throws at you, you have to deal with. You have to try and find a solution, and sometimes they're messy, sometimes it's good football that wins you, and like I said, you got to find that right cocktail to try and win the game.
Apologies if I misunderstood it. I was referring to yourself and Todd Campbell at full time having a little bit of a discussion. When I spoke to Todd about it, he said it was two players who want to win, two competitive players, two players who want to win, and maybe he said he maybe wants to win it a little bit more. What do you make of that?
If that's his opinion, then that's good for him.
Do you agree this is an almighty chance to more or less wrap up the title on Saturday?
I think mathematically it is. Obviously, we if we win the game, then we'll go 6 points clear with 2 games to go, and hopefully with a healthy goal difference. So you put yourself in a really good position after that to go on and try and win the league. But for us, we've trained well this week. The focus is on the game, and whatever the outcome is, then hopefully it's a positive one, and that'll take us one step closer to where we want to be.
With that carrot though dangled amongst professionals going up against your rivals, does that give you that wee extra bit this week?
I think it should. I think it's a brilliant chance for us to go and, like I said, take one step closer to where we want to be. And you add in the fact it's against your biggest rival, then that gives you more motivation. It gives the stadium more motivation. It gives the fans and the club more motivation. So, hopefully we can channel that energy in the right way. You don't want to become too emotional. You want to play the game, and like I said, you got to find a way to win. But if we can do that, then of course it means that we've had a really good day, and hopefully we can send the supporters home happy.
I think we just came away with a win at Celtic Park since October 2020. How long as the longer that goes on, psychologically, does that become a bigger deal?
I don't know. You probably need to ask them that, to be honest. I think for us, when we're at home, we're always trying to be on the front foot and be aggressive and try and take advantage of the stadium and the supporters and try and get them right behind us early doors. So it might be a question for them, but for us, we try and attack the game with the same mindset.
The night before the game, when you're sitting at home, is there a different feeling when it is one of these derby games rather than another league game?
I don't think so. Of course, there's a little bit more sort of more of an edge to it, of course, but I think successful teams, they try to prepare in the same way. They try and not get too up and too down, and the difficult moments and the good moments. So it's the same when you're preparing for matches. I've trained really well this week. Tonight, you go to the hotel, you rest up, get a bit of food, and then go to your room and get ready and think about all the things that you need to try and do in tomorrow's game to make it successful for us. So I guess a little bit sort of sharpen the senses, but I don't want anybody doing anything hugely different to what they normally do.
Was it a fixture you maybe felt more nervous about earlier on in your career and the build up to it, and the more experience you've had in it, the more victories you've had in it, that you go into it with more confidence and feeling like a different person going into it?
That just comes with experience and age. Everything's the same when you play your first game. You're obviously on edge, and the more and more games you play, the more experience you become, the more comfortable you become, and you start to get in a routine of how you prepare yourself and your body and your mind for these games. So it's like everything we experience, you get better.
Do you kind of ever have to, as a captain, kind of notice maybe when people are maybe getting a wee bit more over emotional about it and kind of calm some players down? Is that kind of different from maybe some weeks when you're trying to G some of them up?
There can be little situations, but like I said, I think we're quite level-headed as a group. We don't get too up and too down, so we understand the training and the process of how we train and how we go about our business and how we behave on and off the pitch. I think that gives us the culture, so that when you come to the pressure moments and the big situations, then more or less it's sort of normal for the players, and I try to stress that to them, that if you want to play at this club, you're going to have to play in big pressure games, so it has to become the normal for you. And I think certainly over the last few years we've managed to deal with that really well.
How are you personally, fitness-wise, feeling going into this? The manager spoke to his last Friday about how maybe kind of toned down a wee bit of the strength work, maybe just get you maybe a bit lighter on your feet. Did you feel that helped last weekend? You feel that's going well as well, right? Yeah,
I'm starting to feel much better, which is good. There's always a little period after you're injured where you got to suffer a little bit in terms of trying to catch up with the rest of the group, and you do a bit more extra in the gym and get the legs strong again, and sometimes that can have a little bit of kind of lingering effect on you. But I start to feel like I'm in a good place, and the last couple of weeks training have been really positive.
Was it a bit kind of scary a few weeks ago when you first got the problem flared up again? Did you kind of worry that you might be not be able to be involved in these games and other big games to come as well?
Well, it's always you're always a worry when you get told you're injured, and obviously we went to see the specialist, and they gave us a pretty long time frame, to be honest. And where we were at the season, I think we had a chat as a group, and there was just no way that you were going to sit out and watch the whole thing unfold. I'd rather be in there and be fighting with the lads and trying to help the club as much as possible. So we tried to be as aggressive as we could, in a safe way, of course, but there was definitely a will and an intention to try and be as involved as possible coming into the games.
How did you speed up that process?
Just determination.
It felt like you were back to your best last weekend, but it also felt like the team had the bit between their teeth. Everyone was kind of hounding, pressing, chasing and tackling. Did you get a sense of that in the field, that everyone was of a similar mindset? Yeah,
I think so. I think especially when you get within touching distance of your objective, then you're at home, you've got the crowd with you. It's important that we start the game properly and bring our supporters with us, and I think everybody could see the atmosphere last week was incredible. And then the two married together perfectly. The crowd spur us on, and then we spur the crowd on, and it became a really intense, high level performance, and the players felt good after the game. I think the supporters felt good when they went home as well. So we hope to try and replicate that as many times as we can between now and the end of the season.
There was a moment against Hearts where you tracked back about 40 yards, won the ball, the crowd were all cheering, the manager was in the dugout as well, sort of geeing the crowd on. Is that the type of thing you need tomorrow and expect tomorrow as well?
Yeah, absolutely. These are games where you have to give your all. You got to do more than normal. You got to help your mate, you got to dig in. Even when you're tired, the crowd will give you the energy, and it's little bits like that can help decide the games and those little duels. So the game is never perfect, but you have to help your mate if he's in trouble, and we're pretty good at that.
Was there anything said in the dressing room last weekend after the atmosphere?
I think the boys were just talking, just amongst themselves. I think they probably felt that was, as good an atmosphere as we've had at Celtic Park, in terms of the performance as well. The manager touched on thinking it was probably our most complete performance of the season in terms of the quality that we showed with and without the ball. So for sure the boys were buzzing, and like I said, I think the supporters were buzzing as well. So if we can bring that type of energy tomorrow, then hopefully we'll have a positive day.
And this is a chance for players to become heroes and be playing highlight reels for years to come. Is that what you're saying to the players to be up to the game tomorrow?
I think as much as we can, we sort of focus on the process, and of course these are big games, and if you do something special in them, then you do tend to get remembered more than the other games. So we understand all of that, but I think for us as a group, the key message is, we stick to the process, we do what we believe in and what we trust. And if we do all of that, we then add the sort of special ingredient with the crowd, then hopefully we can have some special moments yet.